That addiction, it comes from the fact that our system, our entire system, is designed to protect us. Because of the ability for our body to respond to situations and to have everything it needs to respond appropriately, we have this incredible ability to secrete hormones. It was once explained to me that if you're walking in the woods and you see a bear, and that bear steps on a twig and it snaps, and the fear comes into you and you get away from that bear safely, but the fear is incredible. For 36 hours, the body is so sensitive to fear and to being alert to those cues of danger that any twig that snaps will send you into that same fear. And so you hear a twig snap and the same fear comes up, and it's just a squirrel or the wind blowing the leaves or a twig just spontaneously snapping off a tree. And all of these hormones are released within our body, preparing us for the danger, and it's inundating our entire nervous system so that we are ready to spring into action and run if we need to. Which is great if you're in the woods and there's bears. However, in a day-to-day society like we have established as humans, it no longer serves us in the same way. And so all of the adrenaline and all of those extra hormones and the chemicals released depending on what emotion we're focused on are flooding our system a lot of the times. We might go into that same panic as if there was a bear chasing us over something like money, a bill, car payment, mortgage, the kids, our spouse, maybe a job, a workplace situation, a coworker that's hard to work with and causing a lot of stress. And all of these situations can elevate those hormones and chemicals rushing through our blood like wave after wave of, and we have no chance for that rush of adrenaline to settle down, because unlike being in the woods or having real danger that fades, this is a constant and repetitive thing, because every morning we wake up thinking about those bills that have to be paid or that spouse that might be having an affair, and we're constantly reigniting the same fears. How can we recover from the addiction to an emotion? The amazing thing is that one of the greatest ways to disempower that addiction is through awareness. That awareness of the addiction, it really gives us a pause. And in that pause, we can notice. And in that sweet spot of awareness, it's really important, I found, to eliminate shame, fear. There's a tendency that we want to shame ourselves and say, oh, God, I did that thing again where I'm addicted to suffering, and what the hell's wrong with me? I'm always addicted to suffering, and it's such a suffering that I'm addicted to suffering. Or oh God, it worries me so much that I keep worrying, like I'm always worrying, what's wrong with me for worrying? And we perpetuate, right? There's a pattern there. It's like beating ourselves up for beating ourselves up for beating ourselves up. It can be infinite. The cool thing is that grace is infinite too. And after noticing, that awareness of noticing, like, oh, I'm doing that thing again. Ain't that something? Oh, I'm in suffering. Suffering's here. Ain't that something? Oh, worry's here. Ain't that something? Oh, sadness is here. Huh, ain't that something? And then from that point, deciding, is this something I'm going to continue in? Like, is it valid? If I'm grieving, if someone just died, or if there's something really sad I'm witnessing or that I'm going through and I need to express it, this is not at all saying bypass that expression, because it is so important to process and express traumas. It is so important. Please, please, please take with you the importance of processing sufferings, fears, worries, low self-worth, whatever it is, like the situation or the trauma that's creating that. Definitely process. This is not at all a bypass of that. It's an incorporation and a means to shift that. After noticing awareness, the next step is choice. Do I choose to continue to go down this path? And if not, how do I stop going down this path? Because it can feel like it's just jamming, like knocking into us, like, let me in, and it just wants to keep. No, I need to think about this because I need to figure it out. I need to think about this suffering and what happened and who did what to me because I need to figure it out and make it better. And the truth is that once we recognize what it is and we can decide, like, is this something I need to process? No, let's say you've processed it with a therapist and you've gone through it, or you've come to peace with it, you've given forgiveness in your mind, and it's just one of those things that keeps showing up, like knocking, trying to get the fix of that adrenaline rush or of those hormones. There's a moment where we can actually fast from thinking about it, and fasting, like, just like in AA, they taught me to just don't pick up that drink, right? It's like, oh, okay, don't drink, just don't drink today. And sometimes it's minute by minute, and sometimes it's second by second, and sometimes literally it is the thought tries to come in like a cloud floating by, and it's trying to come in, and it's really just like, just don't pick up that cloud. Either just let it go through and on out to the nothingness it came from, or just keep it out here suspended, right? And just don't pick up that thought. And the only way I can really, like, if I think about not thinking about something, I'm still thinking about it. So the way to not pick up that thought is to turn, just turn in the other direction. And how do I do that? One form is meditative practices. So meditation can be so helpful. Meditating in the morning, just a few minutes in the morning, 5, 10, 15 minutes every morning before we start to go into the routine thinking of the day. Meditating throughout the day, right? Sometimes I can just go into meditation in the midst of something, and really what that looks like is focusing on whatever is right in front of me. So it might be, I love to paint, so it might be painting. And really, it's very difficult to focus on anything else when I am taking an image and looking to duplicate that image. I'm very focused on, okay, where's that color, where's that line, where's that color, kind of a thing. So that it's occupying my brain. Before there was all of this technology and the things that we have today, a lot of people memorized poems. They would literally fill their brain with all these different beautiful poems that were philosophical or love poems or just different poems, and they would be reciting that all day long, right? And that will fill up the brain. That's a form of meditation. Reading something meditatively, meaning contemplating it, contemplating God, contemplating goodness, thinking of consciously choosing to redirect that thinking into something that really serves us, rather than the thing that is painful and causing the suffering. Those are a few ways to absolutely divert the attention. Going to bed at night, right before we fall asleep, allowing our mind to just drift into focus on, what do I want to dream about tonight? What dreams do I want in my life? What am I thankful for? Being grateful. Being grateful can be really, really difficult, especially when I was in the midst of some of the deepest sufferings of my life, and I couldn't find the gratitude sometimes. And sometimes it's not about really being grateful, it's just about enjoying what's in front of you, or satisfaction, right? Gratitude it starts with satisfaction. So it's like, I couldn't really be grateful. Can I be satisfied? And I could be satisfied, and satisfied felt way better than suffering. So I would notice that, and all of that starts training the neurons, right? The neurons are routed for suffering, so we reprogram them to go into the joyful hormones, right? And it works over time. And many practices or different cognitive practices, the neurons get rerouted back to their original factory setting, which is joy, right? It's our birthright to feel joy and peace. It's our birthright to feel peace. And we've had to navigate new ways of doing that in this societal structure that we have. A way to really, truly release the power of that thought and the fear, especially fear, is the fear feels like it's beyond our control, right? It's something that it's like the unknown, and that's very, very fearful. So I love giving it to a power that has the capacity to overpower that. So this unknown power that's even stronger than the power. And I call that power God, or my higher power, my higher self, whatever name, source, the universe, just giving it. Some people give it to trees, to the earth, to the Mother Earth. Whatever that power is that helps you and guides you, and giving fears, worries, doubts, anything you want to control, anything that feels like sadness or feels overwhelming, giving all of that to this power is a very, very effective way to really allow the mind to feel that peace. Because the peace beyond understanding means exactly that. It means the capacity to have peace no matter what's going on, no matter what anyone's doing, no matter what appears to be a danger. And even in danger, because we have this trust and this faith that is so deep. And the beautiful thing is that peace is contagious, and it actually attaining that peace in our own lives makes it so our whole environment has that peace. So like the environment around me has that peace when I'm experiencing that. And then the people that enter my environment, they get to have that peace. Ultimately, that little bit of peace that we can have can trickle over the entire universe and so much further.